Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In this video, I'll just be talking a little bit about one of the other pillars of Hajj, which is namely called Al-Sa'i bayna al-Safa wal-Marwa. Al-Sa'i is one of those words which actually means to walk with determination or with purpose. And that's what we're going to be doing between Safa and Marwa, the two small hills located very close to the Kaaba. And this is no doubt an obligation. It's one of the pillars of Hajj, it's one of the pillars of Umrah and must be done. A person must do this after the tawaf, although it doesn't have to be done straight away. There can be a small lapse between it, or even a person can return to it later, but it must be done nonetheless. Now, Safa and Marwa are two mounts, and we all know the story relating back to the time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he left his wife Hajar and their young son Ismail in this barren land of Mecca, and without having anything, no water, no food. Ismail is crying, there is a need for some sort of help. Hajar alayhi salam, she runs between As-Safa wal Marwa, trying to look for any help, to see maybe there is anybody there on either side, maybe look for some signs of birds to sow the water. And so by doing a Safa and Marwa, actually the continuation of this act has shown that we are remembering this ritual and this practice of Hajar alayhi salam. And for those who actually go to Hajj will see that the walking between Safa and Marwa is actually one of those long acts. It's not a short distance, and therefore it is and shows demonstrates how determined Hajar, the mother, was to actually look for help and look for water. There is great lessons in living also that reality of sacrifice, and also thinking about how mothers really do look out for their children and very care. And I think that's a humanistic ritual reality, but obviously it's more so within mothers. This act, as I said, it's a pillar of Hajj. It starts with the Mount of Safa, and so a person starts there, goes up onto the mount, makes the intention, and then goes down. When you reach the other side, which is Marwa, that counts as 1, and then from Marwa down to Safa counts as 2. So essentially you'll be doing 7 of those, and needless to say, if you're going to start at Safa and it's 7, you're going to end up at Marwa is where you will finish. Now, much like Tawaf, it's also an opportunity to remember Allah, it's an opportunity to do dhikr, it's an opportunity to make dua, it's an opportunity to reflect on where you are and on the different practices that you are experiencing and about to experience as well with Hajj. Remember, Hajj is that life journey. It's very important to make use of it in many different ways. From the things that are recommended in Safa and Marwa is, like I said, to increase the remembrance of Allah, to increase the dua, to rise up as much as possible on the mount, so that you're not just, there is a line there which will show you where to start off with, but if you go a little bit higher, people go there, they turn towards the Kaaba, make dua, go down and increase their dua. Now there is a period of a small section which is highlighted with green lights, and actually was highlighted before by green banners or flags in the past, which denoted a period where to run or just to walk slightly faster between those two times, which signifies two things. One was the little bit faster that Hajar alayhi salam ran, but also there's another element which dates to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because when the Prophet did the Umrah after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, Quraysh were rumoring that the Muslims have become weak, they've become old, all these battles have actually affected them, they're no longer in good shape. So the Prophet ﷺ said, this is an opportunity to show them our strength, show them our ability. And while they were looking that kind of portion, if you like, was where they were seeing the Muslims and peering out the windows to see what kind of, and so they were, the Muslim uh, pilgrims were running in that period to show them that actually we're still strong, we're still fit, we're still in good shape, and there's no way that you should feel that we have deteriorated in any way. So that's also one of the dimensions that a person can see therein with relation to that aspect of a sa'i. Unlike tawaf, sa'i does not need to, you don't need to have wudu as before in tawaf. However, it is highly recommended to do so, as is it's highly recommended to follow the other acts related to the purity in terms of one's existence as well. And that's it. Safa and Marwa is a very straightforward practice of going between those two mounts. It is there to commemorate those acts that I mentioned, and indeed there is a great time therein to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to remember the rituals that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed, and to glorify Allah onto what He has. Now, I need to say here as well, as another dimension, is that during the time of when the Prophet ﷺ ordained this, some of the Muslims felt a little bit of a burden, or a bit of a, if you like, confusion about how they should carry out this ritual, when it was actually a ritual that was carried out by the pagans before, because the pagans used to put some idols on the mounts of Safa and Marwa, and they used to go between those two idols, the form of sa'i. So some of the Muslims thought that that might be, problematic. Are we following their rituals? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, actually, as-Safa and Marwa are not from the rituals of the mushrikeen, but they are part of the rites, the R-I-T-E, rites, the rituals that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained. Inna as-Safa wal Marwata min sha'airillah. So Allah has placed them there. They placed them part of the rituals, so there is no burden on you to do those that act, because actually it's part of the Hajj that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained throughout time and continues to be a pillar of Hajj. I hope that's useful. Until I meet you in the next video, Assalamu alaikum.